What? Happy Thursday. It's a nice sunny day outside. It's very nice. The traffic was mildly pleasant to drive. With that being said, we're going to be talking about Austin, Texas, my hometown. The town I call home. A town that I despise greatly. I really don't like this city. And I'm kind of making moves to change that. I am actually moving away from Austin. It may not be any time in the near future, but I have an escape plan. With that being said, we're going to be talking about the DPS coming in. The DPS saving us because the idiots down at City Council created a mess that can't fix. So that they call him Big Daddy Abbott for help and call him DPS. Now I got two stories here. I got one from Fox and I got one from KXN. I don't feel like searching for KXN in this article. It's interesting. You can tell where it's slanted. Now this is on Microsoft Start, but it's from KXN. And so we'll start off with the Fox one. Some Austin residents are concerned about Texas Department of Public Safety increased presence in Austin's. Others says the help is needed. No, the help is definitely needed. Cops, the cops are understaffed. There's no plans to hire more officers, mainly because what they need to do is to repair the trust within the Austin Police Union. So people want to be cops here in Austin. The voters need to vote out our wonderful criminal DA Jose Garza, who's going after cops. We also have to fire the police chief for punishing cops that swear, even when there's nobody around. They say a curse word and their body cam picks it up. They are being reprimanded and punished, even though no one hears them. So yeah, there's a trust issue between the cops and the city council. I know there's some people on Twitter that says good, they should be held accountable. They're saying less cops is a better society, which I disagree. Every time where cops decreases, crimes go up. Let's hear in March, the city of Austin leaders announced plans for a Texas DPS to assist the Austin Police Department while they're short-staffed. They're going to continue being short-staffed. We have may hit rock bottom at this point now because we've gotten some help. Austin Police Retired Officers Association President Dennis Ferry said Governor Greg Abbott requested that the Texas assist Austin Police Department through the creation of the Austin Violent Crime Task Force. This came after the street takeover in Austin, which took about an hour for cops to arrive on site. People were on hold for about 15-30 minutes, an additional 30 to 40 minutes to get on site. I think this was coming regardless whether the city of Austin agreed to it. City leaders said the Texas DPS troopers and special agents would help Austin Police Department with violent crime and traffic issues and provide backup during emergencies. The idea that the DPS is coming in here and just overpower the city is just a false narrative, Ferris said. Some Austin residents are worried because the lack of information on the front end. Well, that requires, Abbott to speak. That requires the DPS to speak, but that also talks about the mayor and the city council and the police chief to actually do their job and speak up. One of our chief concerns is that the so-called partnership is the absolute lack of transparency about the partnership itself and the lack of accountability measures that the community members in Austin have hold DPS to account when the state police is on city streets. The ACLU of Texas staff attorney Savannah Coomer said, well, she could just... I was going to say something, but I don't really have much respect for the ACLU here of late. They used to be an awesome organization that was fighting for civil rights. But you know what? I think the issue is that the DPS does not fall under the Austin City Council Oversight Committee, and that's what they have an issue with. They were able to get some oversight within the cops and be able to police the cops into standards that, to our detriment, the reason why cops are leaving, they're not able to hold the DPS to the same standards as Austin Police Department cops. I think that's where the issue is. Made more than 1,500 traffic stops, wrote a total of 765 citations, worked 15 crash investigations, made 83 arrests. Now keep in mind, this is from a couple of days ago, March 10th. Seized 11 guns to where they won't be killing people, recovered 6 stolen vehicles, seized 174 grams of cocaine, 40 grams of heroin, and 127,415 grams of methamphetamine. At the same time period, ATP says that they wrote 223 citations. What TPS is doing is what ATP did before, that they could proactively police where they weren't running a call to call, Ferris said. Kummer says they'll be digging into the numbers to understand the partnership basis and is worried because the Texas DPS history. You mean arresting criminals? Holding people accountable for their actions? That history? We don't have to look far to see where the lack of, or there was an actual deadly mismanagement during the Uvalde shooting. All right, man. They're going low. They're going low when they shouldn't have. Now, yes, DPS was on site with Uvalde. They were holding the perimeter. They were assisting Uvalde ISD police as they were making the breach into the room. Let's see here. Mismanagement during Uvalde shooting, and then the aftermath of what lack of transparency and how decisions were made and what caused other decisions, Kummer said. We also seen that there's significant evidence that DPS has engaged in racial profiling as well. Is this because they, I don't know, pull over black people and Hispanic or Latino people and give them citations? Is that racial profiling? Could it be that the fact that they're pulling people over that have committed crimes based off of their warrant history? Could it be that the fact that maybe a few white people don't speed? They obey traffic laws. Could it be something like that? I mean, these are just questions I have. I mean, I don't know if I have an answer for them. The city council member also requested a briefing of the partnership at Tuesday's work session to provide community transparency and full understanding how this partnership will work to uphold Austin's value and oversight of the police department, because we want to control the police. We also want to control the Texas DPS when they're in Austin. We want to have oversight. We want to tell them when they're doing wrong by arresting too many criminals of color. You got to go arrest some white people to even it out. Let me be clear. What I'm saying is very hyperbolic and can be misconstrued as bias towards a certain group. I honestly believe that anybody, regardless of gender, creed, skin tone, ethnic background, is capable of being a criminal. Anybody could be a criminal. Anybody could be a saint. Anybody could be a hero. But I have to ask why a certain population that has about 30% or 15% of the population commit a higher number of crimes. Let's put that right. The intern assistant city manager, Bruce Millis, says that we're 1 week into the partnership, but I thought it was someone else was the city manager. Anyways, we're 1 week in our partnership with the Texas Department of Public Safety, and already are experiencing positive impacts with higher visibility of police presence, and lower response time. Chief Chacon, which should be let go, to be honest. I don't think he makes a really good chief. He makes Chief Avocado, Arch Avocado, look halfway decent. Is developing a dashboard to track data and quantify the impacts of the DPS support, which will be most informative. When we have at least a few weeks worth of information, we'll be able to compare. In the meantime, we appreciate the extra support which has provided much needed relief to awesome police officers as we continue to address staffing shortages brought on by the city council and the police abolitionist activists that the city councils listen to. I remember when they defunded the police. You had communities of minority communities, people of color, color people, or whatever you want to describe them of. You had Latinos, you had the Hispanics, you had Asians, you had black people, you had African Americans. Plead the city council, do not defund the police. We actually want more police. We want more patrols. And the city of Austin have said, no, we hear your pleas, but go screw yourself. We want to send an example to the police that they're not above the law. We want to make it so hard to be a cop, so hard to create arrests, that they'll be under the microscope for police accountability because a handful of people don't like cops. That's what's happening here in Austin. Let's see here. This weekend participated mainly with many high benefits from partnership and look forward to continuing to work together to keep Austinites safe through the busy spring festival season and beyond. The city council member Mackenzie Kelly says that she delivered a memo with questions to Mills in advance of the city council briefing on October 18th, which is next week. In response to the committee, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. What are some of her questions? What hotspots is DPS working in? What is the arrest, search, and site data? Additionally, what are the demographics of people who are being stopped? Criminals. That's your demographic right there. Thugs and criminals. Thugs and criminals. What are the outcomes of the searches that the police are conducting and who is being targeted? Criminals. We need data to assess the effectiveness of their efforts and determine whether or not they are focusing on the right areas and individuals. Are they arresting criminals or are they not arresting criminals? Tweets like this makes me not like Mackenzie Kelly. Tweets like this reinforces my gut feeling about her that she's just a wolf in sheep clothing. Now, she's the only conservative on the city council. So I understand that de facto makes her an ally, but doesn't mean that I'm not going to criticize her. What are the numbers of gun seizures and how are they being obtained? It's important to know how the guns are acquired from and from whom to ensure that the Austin Police Department is complying with the procedures for turning in guns that are seized by DPS. What are the violent crime statistics in the area where the DPSs are operating and how are they changed over time? Although it may be difficult to determine whether or not the assistance is the cause of any change in the crime rate, it's important to have some quantitative data to evaluate the effectiveness of the program. Hey, here's a follow-up. Why do demographics of the people stop even matter? If they're patrolling the highway, they should be pulling over people based on how they're driving and not what their skin color is. I'm sure the cops love getting this memo. There's no... What are the demographics of the people that are being stopped? The answer is the ones committing the violation of the law. We need data to assess the effectiveness, etc., etc. Answer is no, you don't. HB blew this so bad that the state has to step in. And my response is no, they did not. It's a city of Austin. This is a city council. Let's see here, blah, blah. Let's see here. Um, let's see, nearly 3 weeks ago, or 3 weeks in the increased patrols in Austin. Austin said the initiative is helping with violent crimes, and some community members have expressed concerns about the presence of troopers in certain neighborhoods. So far, the DPS reported they made nearly 200 arrests. This was actually by 4 hours ago. DPS started assisting the police department last month at the request of Governor Greg Abbott in late March through the creation of the Austin Violent Crime Task Force, blah, 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 blah. DPS is making arrests in Austin. During that time, task force has made 117 felonies, not 800, but 81 misdemeanors arrests, recovered 17 stolen vehicles, seized not one, but 0.59 pounds of cocaine and 0.09 pounds of heroin, and more than 200 pounds of methamphetamine and 30 firearms. DPS says it also provided 757 ATP assists. KXN is looking through the sections of the arrest, documented a better understanding of the arrest activities. Below are the arrests occurring between April 8th and April 10th. So 2 days of data. First DWI, an open container. First DWI, which is kind of, let's see here, unlawful carrying of a weapon, drug possession of meth, evading arrest with the previous conviction. Felony controlled substance for arrest of 2 people. Packages of marijuana-infused gummies and 1 marijuana vape pen. Felony human trafficking on a person of under 18. Arrest is made a part of a sting. Possession of a controlled substance less than 1 gram. 3 small baggies of mushrooms. Yeah, looks like they're doing a good job. Possessions of controlled substance, 40 gram of 40. Bag of marijuana. Blah, 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 blah. Of the notes are the sample of the arrest instance that may not directly represent the entire scope of DPS Austin patrol arrest, but DPS says troopers cite the release. It says cite and release anything under 4 ounces of marijuana. Let's see here, what the... Yeah, whatever. Austin Department policy on marijuana is below, blah, 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 blah. Understanding DPS priorities. Assistant Chief Jeff Greenwald said the department asked the DPS to help primarily with the below of the 3 efforts: traffic stops for things like speeding and prevent deadly accidents, responding to crashes so drivers can get help more quickly, patrolling violent crime hotspots areas. Greenwald added stabbings and shootings have decreased since the partnership began. Since the troopers are responding to crashes, drivers are getting help more quickly. Law enforcement have not named specifically locations of the DPS initiative as violent crimes hotspot patrols, but Greenwald said the DPS and ADP meet weekly to discuss which areas need extra presence. KXN observed multiple troopers arrests on Riverside and Runberg neighborhood. ADP says funds acquired from the DPS citations will go to DPS in the state and not the city of Austin. Oh, they're not going to like that one. How to file a complaint with the DPS trooper. While troopers are increasing patrols with city limits, they are not subject to monitoring by the officer or the Office of Police Oversight, in which citizens with complaints against Austin police have to file them. To file a complaint about the interaction with the DPS officer, you can submit via by mail or email or fax with the DPS directly. You can see the blank complaint form. Name, address, city, phone number. Complaint: you arrested my boy. He did nothing wrong. You slammed him down to the ground and arrested him. All we were doing was fighting. All we were doing was fighting on 6th Street. Ain't no crime. Nobody got hurt. Copyright 2002. Wow, really? That's an old copyright there, buddy. Anyways, as you can see, DPS here in Austin, Texas is stepping up to the plate where the city of Austin has failed. Now, my only question is, with the presence of DPS troopers, when they make an arrest, does the state prosecute them or does the county prosecute them? I want to know, because if it's the county that is prosecuting, it's going to be a catch and release to where the Jose Garza says, just let him go. I have no crime to charge you with. You're not doing your job, not doing your due diligence, DPS, so we're just letting him go. Just like he has been doing. With that being said, that is my video down below. If you live in Austin, are you not participating, but are you appreciating the presence of the DPS troopers? Are you appreciating the tan uniforms helping Austin clean up their mess? Let me know down below what your opinions about this is. With that being said, have yourself a wonderful day, morning, or evening.